And remember, democracy is weak. It relies on the votes of the foolish masses who are incapable of choosing strong leaders. Constitutional government fosters weakness. The rejection of republicanism is what won the last war for Germany, and it will bring us victory over these stupid Americans.
That's not what they told us at the Academy.
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from the chalkboard.
And I thought 20th century hospitals were grim.
And yet the very best people who taught in a place like this had the power to uplift people's lives, to teach them knowledge, principles, and self-awareness. This was a battlefield where millions of unknown soldiers of knowledge fought to elevate humanity from barbarism.
Captain Hauptmann looks like he'll fit right into German society in 20 years.
Boys and girls, let me introduce you to an example of inferior Republican stock. Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk. Tell us, Kirk, how can you defend the ludicrous American system?
I see no reason to defend anything, Captain. These children are, in spite of your efforts to indoctrinate them, quite capable of growing up to become adults who will make up their own minds. I am not interested in a debate, Hauptmann. If your system is so superior to America's, how come you're losing the war? Why don't we put it up to a vote? You have a choice between a system that gives you leaders who will oppress you for life, or a system which, imperfect though it may be, allows you to influence your leaders and gives you a chance to bring them to account. All in favor of Hauptmann's system, say aye.
Aye!
All in favor of my system, say aye.
Aye!
It appears that they don't want what you offer them, Hauptmann.
I will not tolerate such insults. The Baron will make you all pay.
Jim, wasn't that a violation of the Prime Directive?
Dr. McCoy, this is clearly an imaginary culture with no real existence. The Prime Directive cannot be reasonably extrapolated to affect such a culture.
Hi.
Ingrid is very shy, Colonel.
Are all Americans as handsome as you, Colonel Kirk?
Why, Bones, you're never at a loss for words. You answer.
Lieutenant Colonel Kirk, when I grow up, will you teach me how to fly as good as you?
Well,
I guess we're ready to ship you to the Academy, Jim.
Wow! A real American pilot! Can I shoot you as an escaped prisoner?
no.
Frau Humperdinck, Colonel Kirk wanted to shoot him! Is that fair?
Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What do you think about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? These children are something, aren't they? I didn't realize they let mad dogs teach children. You know, I've heard that chalkboards can be very dangerous to children. The chalk is very bad for the lungs. Maybe I should remove it. What do you think about that?
It's horrible. With any luck, my students won't have to fight in such a war when they get older. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. What can you tell me about...
Ah, the Baron. Such a charming man. If all the military and Gothos were like him, it would be a better place to live. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. These children are something, aren't they?
They are a little rambunctious, aren't they? Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. I didn't realize they let mad...
He's a rather enthusiastic officer. Herr Kirk, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. You know, I've heard that
You want to remove my chalkboard? Nein, absolutely not. I wouldn't consider it unless you gave me a letter from the superintendent telling me to do this.
German World War I Army rifle, Captain. There are no unusual readings from it.
There don't have to be.
Indeed, Doctor. by this period, firearms were extremely efficient and deadly. The tricorder scan indicates that the safe contains trinitrotoluene, commonly referred to as TNT.
I suppose it might be an asset. Can you get it?
My tricorder indicates the lock is atypical for the period. I would require the exact combination.
A drink from you? If you believed that we would drink your drug schnapps, you are insane. I would have shot you on sight, Lieutenant Colonel Kirk. You owe your life to Baron Trelane's kindness.
I'll try to remember to thank him when I see him. Why don't you tell your so-called Baron to stop playing games and come out of the castle and face me? Kindness? Trelane? Are we talking about the same man?
Your insults are meaningless, Colonel. The Baron is a civilized man. How else can you explain the fact that you are not dead?
The Baron is an immature, power-crazed child who has kept us alive to entertain himself by subjecting us to sadistic reproduction of one of Earth's bloodiest wars.
If I weren't civilized, I would kill you for such an insult.
You call yourself civilized?
Get out!
I can't believe the trench would be so close to the town.
It shouldn't be. At this point in the war, the Allies had broken through the trenches. That's why Germany surrendered. Their defenses were crumbling, and they didn't want to see their cities destroyed.
Only one of many illogical situations, Commander. The building where we were imprisoned almost burned to the ground, but no other building was touched, and no one seemed concerned about the fire.
What else?
The fact that everyone seems to recognize us, yet the military does not try to intercept us. The building signs in English instead of German. There is much here that is not what it seems. This battlefield does not truly represent the misery that was your First World War. A single soldier where there would be dozens. Dirt where there should be mud. Trelane is not providing an accurate depiction of this war, Captain.
At least we have one thing to thank him for, Mr. Spock. Think of it. Millions of young kids enthusiastically signing up for a war without purpose, dying without reason, by the orders of commanders who don't care. It's too bad that things haven't changed much in the last 400 years. Kids still die meaningless deaths for commanders who don't care.
It's hard to believe that I'm from the same species that could create such carnage.
We improved, but that's damning with faint praise. How come these planet-side missions always end up being so damn cheerful?
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from an object in his pocket. A locket of some sort.
Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about the war? What can you tell me about Trelane? About your locket. What can you tell me about the war?
I am a sentry. The others are dead. I think I'm dying. Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about Trelane?
I like to watch the airplanes fly overhead. The enemy watches them too, and I know we'll have a few minutes of peace. Nothing to report in the West.
About...
You want my locket? But that's the only reminder of my girl. I'd rather lose my arm.
We need it very badly. If we do something for you, would you give it to us?
I have a letter to my girl. If you see that it is delivered, I'll give you my locket.
My dearest Hilda, you are the sun that lights my shadows. Your voice is the one that speaks to me when all other voices are filled with pain. Only your memory keeps this unbearable suffering from driving me mad. That and the hope that this war will soon end, one way or another, and that I may yet live to see your smile.
Young human male, life signs failing. suffering from internal bleeding and shock. That's odd. I should be able to see immediate improvement in his injuries. But I have no response.
That is because Trelane is interfering. This man is meant to be a dying soldier, whose presence provides drama for Trelane's production.
He'll die.
Logic suggests that Trelane will not allow him to die, except for dramatic effect. Given the inconsistencies I've noticed, it is probable that he may be kept alive indefinitely.
Can you give him something for the pain, Doctor?
Nothing I've done has any effect on him, Commander.